Something smells like crap, mothballs, and a humiliation fetish. Oh, I know that smell. It's Kaitlin Bennett. So in this video, Kaitlin Bennett, in very typical Kaitlin Bennett style, goes on the beach and decides to ask a bunch of people misleading questions about this bill, H.R. 1. It is a bill to expand voting rights. I'm not a policymaker. I've said this before. I'm not particularly knowledgeable with the intricacies of policy. However, I did a little bit of searching. I looked over this summary here from Vox. I also read an article from Washington Times. I looked over here from Brennan Center of Justice, which really gave like a step-by-step explanation through the whole bill. And I also looked on PolitiFact, which talked about some of the misleading claims, which we're going to be getting to in a moment. So overall, this H.R. 1 bill, there might be some concerns about the free speech of certain donors. And of course, there are always going to be nuances there. But overall, the bill seems to be a good thing. The main summary is that the bill makes voter registration a little easier and much more modern. It allows people who are younger to register earlier so that they can vote when they become the proper age. It protects ballots, and it even addresses voter fraud and other kinds of voter security. So yeah, overall, the bill, a good thing. It recently passed and it is on its way to the Senate. So here comes Kaitlin Bennett with this video. We are doomed. And I have to say, I agree. In a world where Kaitlin Bennett has 600,000 simp subscribers, we are doomed.
Do you guys know anything about a bill being proposed right now called H.R. 1?
No, what's it about?
Okay, so it's about for the people. It says it's a
So this is already really bad. Here's Kaitlin Bennett on the street giving her interpretation of this bill to these people so she can then ask them questions and try to school them. I mean, come on.
Here we go. Should American elections be completed in 1 day or 10 days?
10.
Huh?
A little bit longer for everybody to just get actual decision and have like an accurate count instead of just being all over the place in 1 day.
Okay. All right, so election season.
Kaitlin Bennett's lying to these people, and that's how she's getting her quick gotcha on them. It actually doesn't expand election day to election season. First and foremost, there's such a thing as early voting, okay? And this new bill requires at least 15 consecutive days of early voting for federal elections. Early voting sites would be open for at least 10 hours per day. For example, in Alaska, it's already 15 days before the election. In Arizona, it's 27 days before the election. All this bill does is guarantee 15 days in every state. The bill also prohibits states from restricting a person's ability to vote by mail and requires states to prepay postage on return envelopes for mail-in voting. Just right here, this little summary, you can see that the goal of this bill is to expand voting rights, to make it so that you have the ability to participate in our democracy regardless of whether or not you can even afford a stamp or not. Okay, if you're an American citizen, you need to be able to participate in our democracy. That is a fundamental American right. You realize that people cast their votes, and then when the votes are counted, oftentimes we don't actually know who won for sure until the next day. I remember the 2016 election, I was up till like 2 or 3 a.m. I guess now our elections are gonna last for 2 days.
Should they have 1 day, like traditionally it's been, to cast their votes, or should they be awarded 10 days?
Should they be awarded more time to vote? No one's being awarded time to vote, Kaitlin. People are being given what they are owed as an American citizen.
I think
10 days.
I think 1 day. Because it's always been like that.
Like, what if they have 1 day that they have to vote? They're busy, you know? They need a longer time.
My man, pepperoni nipples up here, schooling Kaitlin Bennett on the beach.
Like, what if on Monday is election day? Oh, I'm busy the entire day. People with kids and stuff, they go for work, go get the kids.
You don't think 4 years is enough time to plan to go vote that day?
What if your tire goes out on that day, Kaitlin? What if 9 months before the election, your wife gets pregnant and then you have the baby on election day? I mean, what are you talking about? Honey, if we have sex while you're in ovulation, you might then get pregnant, which would mean that you'd be delivering the baby sometime in the week of the election, which is approaching in only 2 years. I've been keeping count on my little calculator. This guy just gave a sincere, legitimate, and very reasonable answer. And Kaitlin Bennett's up here like, oh, so you don't think 4 years is enough to plan? Plans change all the time, Kaitlin Bennett, you dumb fuck.
I would say...
I'm just talking about casting the vote.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
it's
say
still
10
harder
days.
for some people, yeah, so I would say 10.
It's harder for who? To vote?
Yeah,
Who?
like minorities.
It's harder for minorities to vote?
They get less options and things like that. It was actually easier for the casting ballots for them than how...
It's true. Yeah, so this article basically goes into pretty good detail about how in certain states there were multiple different laws, including the use of voter ID laws, which were used to enact racist outcomes. So yeah, minorities, they have a lower voter turnout. There's a reason for that. Now, if you're Kaitlin Bennett, right, you're interpreting what this girl said as, wow, you think minorities are dumb so they don't know how to vote? Aren't you a racist? Lol, libtard wreck.
Talk about inmates. Should felons be allowed to vote?
Yes, most definitely. Yeah, I think once they get out, they should be able to vote. You know, I don't think it's...
Look at right here. It even clarifies. This bill restores voting rights to people convicted of felonies who have completed their sentences. I believe in rehabilitation. I think that if you've done something really terrible, obviously it kind of varies on what that crime is, right? But if somebody committed a felony and they served their time, they completed their sentence, when they get out of prison, yes, they should be able to vote because they need to integrate back into society. And it also says the bill doesn't restore rights to felons currently serving sentences. So if you're a murdering rapist who gets sent to prison for life, no, you're not going to be participating in the election.
But if they have a second chance to be out, they should be able to vote.
You think mass murderers should dictate if I have the right to defend myself with the firearms, the Second Amendment? Should they be allowed?
I've never seen anybody so weaselly, so uncharitable. Like, it's just ridiculous. The only people that take this bullshit seriously are people that already 100% agree with her and are not looking to have any of their ideas challenged. He said that people who serve their time and then get out should have a second chance and they should be able to vote. And Kaitlin's interpreting that as, oh, so you think mass murderers should dictate? That is the literal word she used. Also, Kaitlin, if we're being honest, do you think any mass murderer is going to be getting out of prison? Do you really think mass murderers aren't going to be sentenced to life in prison like 99% of the time? There is no world in which mass murderers would dictate whether or not you have a gun or not.
To vote on my gun rights? And rapists, once they get out, do you think they should be able to vote on my gun rights if I should be able to defend myself?
I'm going to say yes, because people change.
You know how I'm going to think through this is if the judge sentenced that person, let's say, yeah, to like 25 years in prison, right? Okay, the judge clearly saw that to be a fitting punishment for the crime. So once they get out of prison, it doesn't mean that their crime is suddenly acceptable. And believe me, people with felony charges have that on their record for the rest of their life. That's gonna fuck them up in a number of other ways anyway. The least you can give to an American citizen, even a felon who has now gotten out of prison, is the right to vote and the ability to participate in our democracy.
If they're still... Yeah, they're still American citizens.
You mean,
in jail?
You mean in jail, that's what I was asked.
What do you think?
No. Oh, Kaitlin. Oh, it clarifies. You can read it from the woketardvox.com. The fact that Kaitlin Bennett is okay lying to people, just trying to have fun on the beach, it makes her the beach.
So you're wrong.
What about a mass murderer? Do you think he has the best opinions for how this country should be run? Do you think he should...
He's just making stuff up. Is it this easy? Can I just go to the beach and do this? Hey, do you think we should elect only pedophiles to be president? Because that's what this new bill is that the Democrats want to pass.
Should 16-year-olds be allowed to vote?
Yeah, I actually do think young people should be allowed to vote.
Okay.
Especially younger people, because they have a really...
HR 1 does not provide 16-year-olds to vote. All it does is set it up so that 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds can pre-register to vote. The bill even says that nothing in that provision may be construed to require a state to permit an individual who is under 18 years of age at the time of an election for federal office to vote in the election. So there we have it. Kaitlin Bennett going on the beach, lying to people, just bull-faced lies about what this bill is so she can get some easy gotchas, and she still ended up getting absolutely clapped. Talk about a humiliation fetish. Kaitlin, the world would be a better place if you just deleted all your social media and just stayed being a good housewife, barefoot and pregnant, nothing else. Don't speak. You have no opinion. Just zip it and let the men handle this, okay? Please give this video a like, comment below, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, everybody. Now I have a headache. I'm gonna go pop like 3 aspirin. Peace.